We are the learners and makers. After exploring Colorado beyond the Rockies, we continue our family tour to Roanoke, Virginia. Anthony grew up in Virginia, and we'd been looking forward to exploring history, natural wonders, and unique local museums. From the home of Thomas Jefferson to tubing on a river, childhood arcade games to a parents-only art date, we connected with the Roanoke area in a whole new way.
I've always felt like one of the most challenging things to do when you travel is to go somewhere familiar, but experience it with fresh perspective.
I think it's especially challenging when you're visiting family because you're already, a lot of your time is being kind of used towards just seeing everybody and you want to spend lots of time with everybody.
Something I had really been looking forward to is, since I grew up in the Blue Ridge area of Virginia, there is so much cool stuff in and around. Some things I was familiar with from my childhood, and some things I had never done before. So getting to go to my hometown and experience it in such a new way, it was really, really fun. Plus, there was like a continuity to some of it. Like, for example, we went to Monticello, the home of Thomas Jefferson. When you are a kid growing up in Virginia, there's a good chance you're taking a field trip to Monticello at some point in elementary school.
I think your whole family said, oh, I went there. The last time I went there was in third grade.
Exactly, yeah. So being able to go with my own children now and experience it was so fun. One of those cool things in travel is when you get to experience something with your kids that you did as a kid. We are up at Monticello today, just outside of Charlottesville, Virginia. I've been so excited to bring the kids here. This is one of the places that, growing up in Virginia, it's kind of a birthright. I think I came here when I was in probably 4th grade, did a tour all around the area. So coming here with Connor and Aster, and with Jody, who hasn't been here before either, it's really special to remember some of the things I saw and to just experience it anew through not only the fresh perspectives of my children, but just coming at it with kind of my own open mind and seeing this place as an adult and thinking about the complexities of history. But it's just really amazing to go somewhere with your kids that you got to go when you were a kid.
It was really fun. And we have some super Hamilton musical fans in our family. So it was a little, it felt like a good fit to be going to these places that are like talked about and that we've studied further because we like the musical so much. And that was a fantastic homeschool opportunity for us.
The local area too, I have always been a fan of downtown Roanoke. When I did live there, there was a good chance you could either find me where I worked at the newspaper, the Roanoke Times, or I would be at Mill Mountain Coffee and Tea, trying to, grow my taste for black coffee. And I drink a lot of oolong tea back in the day. A lot of oolong. But there are all these neat places there, some of which were not there when I was a kid. So a couple places we went to were a pinball museum and an arcade museum that was full of games that like Jody and I would have grown up with. Being in the Starcade, I have so many fond memories of going to like the mall arcade and whatnot as a kid. So seeing a lot of these kind of childhood classics that I pumped a lot of quarters into is pretty cool. All the games here are set on free play, so you pay your admission and then you do your thing. I was just very glad to see that when it comes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, my Donatello has still got skills.
Yeah, it was so fun. And all of those, both the Starcade and the Pinball Museum, are in an area called Center for the Square.
Center in the Square.
Center in the Square. Sorry, I'm not a local. I don't know these things as well. Center in the Square. And that just has a ton of options. If you're a family, very cool place to go. You can, whatever kind of flavor of museum basically is, you can find something cool to do there. One of the things that we really wanted to do in Roanoke that we haven't done very much of was explore some of the natural areas around the city. Oh, here comes a person.
Child invasion.
What do you got on your face?
Hey,
Some chocolate ice cream or something?
Aster, what did you like about
Give me a
being
little lick.
What did you like about being in Virginia?
What was your favorite part?
The floating on the river.
I was just gonna talk about that.
Swimming.
Love to swim.
Go for a float on the James River just north of Roanoke, Virginia. There's little rapids. Are there still little rapids, little rapids?
Rapid, rapid.
The Blue Ridge area is full of so much beauty. The hills, the forests, the rivers, you name it. And floating on the James River, I didn't even know about this growing up.
It was so gorgeous. It was just so, I was blown away. I mean, we live in a very green state. Oregon is a very green state. It's just green and lush here. We live in a rainforest practically. But it was so green. It was so beautiful. Just felt the river was just an excellent float. The kids loved it. We had a great time. Great family activity.
From this area too, up around the small town of Buchanan, it's also a very easy jumping off point to head to Natural Bridge State Park. This is another of those places where if you grow up in Virginia, there's a good chance you will go there at some point. It is really beautiful. And in addition to walking around the bridge area itself, there's like a replica indigenous village, bunch of hiking trails, cool visitor center. It's the kind of place where it is so easy to make a short trip and get a really wonderful dose of the outside. Can you find the bird marker? You get some really cool cave systems in this region. Thanks to all that limestone under us. So Aster, where do you think we are?
At the village.
And what do you think about this?
I think it's awesome.
Do you think it's going to be cool?
Yes. It's made out of sticks.
Naturally, when you're visiting family, anytime they offer to take the kids for a while, you jump at it.
Especially, we don't utilize babysitters very often. So we had a chance to go on a little date at the art museum. We took it. So, and we went over to is it Tubman?
Yep.
Art Museum. It's a modern art museum. You can't miss it. It is a very distinctive looking building, and it was fantastic. There were so many things about this museum that I really loved. It's got a very open, light feeling, and you can go up to the balcony and see this fantastic view of downtown, which was really enjoyable.
Yeah, downtown Roanoke has some really iconic old signs. You can also see Mill Mountain with the iconic Roanoke star on top of it. Travel tip, it is a great spot for a little couple art date selfie. Thank you so much for joining us on our family tour and coming to the end of it with our visit to Roanoke, Virginia. From here, we're coming back to Oregon to go into full-on, full-time travel prep mode. Like, if you saw what was around
the house
us
looks
right now.
like, it's a little chaotic, and we will be sharing some of how we are getting ready for full-time travel, because let me tell you, it is not an instant type of process. It is quite a process to get a house you've lived in for 16 years ready for the next thing.
A house you work in, or raising 2 children in, or running a
Homeschool.
business in.
I mean, we just use our home a lot. So we are in the middle of doing all of that, and we will be sharing that. So don't forget to hit subscribe, ding the bell for notifications, and give us a thumbs up so that you can see our next videos coming up.
You can visit our website, learnersandmakers.com, for more in-depth articles and travel guides about family travel and accessible travel. Also, be sure to check out our piece on things to do in Roanoke with kids. We did this piece in partnership with Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge. Thank you to them for sponsoring that post in our trip. And we go into a lot more depth in there on some of the things we talked about here and a bunch of other different activities you can do in and around the Roanoke area. So check that out at learnersandmakers.com.
To follow our everyday adventures, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Learners and Makers. And we will see you next time.
Bye.